Hungary highlighted how fine the margins are in Formula One. One missed upgrade, one flawed setup, and a team can slip down the order. Mercedes, once the benchmark, now finds itself in a position where it must chase rather than lead. Hamilton understands this better than anyone. His frustration is not just with Hungary, but with the trend it represents. Until Mercedes can consistently match or exceed its rivals, Hamilton's fight will remain a battle of damage limitation rather than glory. The gap is clear, and the task ahead is daunting, but not impossible. Despite the disappointment in Hungary, there were lessons to take away. Hamilton and Mercedes have faced adversity before, and each time they have found a way to rebuild. The key now is translating frustration into action. Mercedes must address their weaknesses in both strategy and car development. Small improvements will not be enough. The team needs bold, decisive changes to close the gap. Hamilton's feedback will be central to this process, as his experience and precision make him an invaluable asset in shaping the car's future. For Hamilton, the focus remains on persistence. He knows that one breakthrough can transform a season. Hungary may have been brutal, but it was also a clear reminder of what must be fixed. The road forward will not be easy. Yet history shows that Hamilton performs best when challenged. If Mercedes can give him the platform, there is no doubt he will seize it. Hungary, painful as it was, may prove to be the spark that drives the next turnaround. Lewis Hamilton's brutal weekend in Hungary was not the story of defeat, but of determination. His words, "I'm glad it's over," were not a surrender, but an honest acknowledgement of a race that tested him and his team to the limit. This race will be remembered as a symbol of the gap Mercedes must close, but also as proof of Hamilton's resilience. Even in his most challenging moments, he remains relentless, unwilling to settle for anything less than excellence. Hungary revealed flaws, but it also revealed strength, a driver who refuses to be broken, a team determined to rise again, and a champion who sees every setback as fuel for the next fight. For Hamilton, the weekend's struggles are already in the past. What matters now is what comes next. And if his history has shown anything, it is this: the more difficult the battle, the more powerful his response. Hungary may be over, but Hamilton's determination is only just beginning. The disappointment was clear in his post-race remarks. His words carried the frustration of a champion who expects to fight at the front, not scrape for scraps in the midfield. Hungary was not just a setback. It was a reminder of the gap Mercedes must close to give Hamilton the tools he needs. After the race, Hamilton did not hold back. His statement, "I'm glad it's over," captured the raw emotion of a weekend that tested him mentally and physically. It was not anger, but resignation from a driver who had done everything in his power, only to see the result slip away. Hamilton's candor resonated with fans. His willingness to speak openly about his struggles showed the mindset of a true competitor. He was not looking for excuses. He was facing reality head-on. This level of honesty is part of what makes Hamilton different. He understands that acknowledging weakness is the first step toward finding solutions. For Mercedes, his words were not a criticism, but a wake-up call. Hungary was more than a single bad race. It was a message to his team and to the sport. He is ready to fight, but he needs the right equipment. Until then, Hamilton's frustration will remain, tempered only by his determination to turn moments like this into fuel for a comeback. The Hungarian Grand Prix exposed the underlying flaws in Mercedes' current car. While upgrades earlier in the season showed promise, they were not enough to compete against the likes of Red Bull or even McLaren on a demanding circuit like Hungary. The car lacked aerodynamic efficiency, particularly in high-speed sections, forcing Hamilton to push harder than ideal. This aggressive driving style, while necessary, accelerated tire wear and created a vicious cycle of declining performance. Mercedes engineers admitted that Hungary highlighted specific weaknesses in their setup philosophy. The balance between downforce and striide at line speed remains unresolved, leaving Hamilton without the confidence he needs to fully exploit the car. While rivals continue to evolve rapidly, Mercedes appears locked in a slower development curve. For Hamilton, this means every race feels like an uphill battle, with his skill compensating for deficiencies that should not exist at this level. If Mercedes hopes to return to the top, they must solve these issues quickly. Otherwise, races like Hungary may become a recurring, painful theme for their star driver. Racing at the highest level is as much a mental challenge as it is a physical one. For Hamilton, Hungary tested both. A weekend filled with setbacks can wear down even the strongest competitors, but it is Hamilton's mental resilience that stands out. Despite his disappointment, he remained composed. He analyzed the race, identified weaknesses, and prepared himself for what comes next. This mental discipline has been a hallmark of his career, allowing him to turn frustration into determination. However, the emotional weight of these results cannot be ignored. A driver of Hamilton's caliber is not wired to accept mediocrity. Each uncompetitive weekend is a reminder of what he is fighting to reclaim: the thrill of victory. This pressure is not just internal. Fans expect Hamilton to be in the fight, and he feels that responsibility. Hungary was another test of his ability to endure, to keep pushing forward even when the odds seem stacked against him. For Hamilton, this resilience will be crucial as Mercedes works to give him the car he deserves. While Hamilton and Mercedes struggled, their rivals capitalized. Red Bull's dominance remained evident, with Max Verstappen executing another controlled performance. Meanwhile, McLaren and Ferrari continued to close the gap, showing strong pace in Hungary's technical sectors. These developments only magnified Mercedes's challenges. Each race where rivals gain ground pushes Hamilton further from contention. For a driver who thrives on competition, watching others excel while he battles for minor points is a okay.
The Hungarian Grand Prix was a race Lewis Hamilton will not forget, but not for the right reasons. The seven-time world champion endured one of the most challenging weekends of his career, battling a car that lacked balance and pace. From the very first practice session, nothing seemed to click. Qualifying brought no relief. Hamilton found himself struggling for grip, sliding through corners that once felt effortless. The race itself was no better. A poor start left him fighting in the midfield, a position unfamiliar and frustrating for a driver of his caliber. Each lap was a reminder that the car simply could not deliver what he needed. When the checkered flag fell, Hamilton was left outside the points, an outcome that underscored just how brutal the weekend had been. His post-race words carried both exhaustion and relief. "I'm glad it's over." This was not the statement of defeat, but of sheer honesty, from a champion who had just faced one of his hardest battles of the season. Hamilton's weekend unraveled almost immediately. From the first laps in practice, he reported a lack of rear stability, making it nearly impossible to build confidence in the car. Each setup change brought only marginal improvements, while rivals steadily found more pace. Hungary's demanding circuit punished every weakness. The long, sweeping corners exposed Mercedes's ongoing struggles with downforce and balance. Hamilton was forced to adapt his driving style, wrestling the car through every turn while trying to preserve his tires. It was an exhausting task that left little room for attacking his competitors. In qualifying, the limitations became painfully clear. Despite pushing to the edge, Hamilton could only manage a midfield start. For a driver who thrives on precision, it was an infuriating experience. By race day, Hamilton's expectations had shifted from chasing a podium to simply salvaging what he could. Yet even that modest goal slipped away, as the car's performance failed to match the demands of the track. Hungary was not just another bad race. It was the culmination of ongoing issues that have plagued Mercedes all season. When the lights went out on Sunday, Hamilton needed a clean start to have any hope of scoring points. Instead, he was immediately boxed in by faster rivals, losing crucial positions on the opening lap. From there, the race turned into a relentless defensive fight. The lack of straight-line speed left Hamilton vulnerable, while the car's instability and slow corners cost him valuable time. He radioed feedback to the team, searching for any adjustment that might unlock pace, but there was no quick fix. As the laps wore on, tire degradation only added to the struggle. Hamilton was forced into an early pit stop, which dropped him even further back. Meanwhile, competitors like Russell and Leclerc maintained consistent pace, leaving Hamilton with little chance of recovery. Despite his experience and skill, he was trapped in a battle with the midfield, far from where a 7-time world champion expects to be. For Hamilton, every lap felt like confirmation that Hungary had become a race of survival, not contention. By the checkered flag, hope had long faded. Finishing outside the points is rare for Lewis Hamilton, and that reality made Hungary sting even more. Each missed opportunity mattered, especially in a season where every result shapes the championship battle. For Hamilton, the loss was not simply about numbers on the board. It was the frustration of knowing that his raw ability was limited by machinery that could not match his demands. Despite his relentless effort, there was nothing he could do to change the outcome. Mercedes, too, felt the weight of the result. The team had hoped for steady progress, but Hungary revs yield how far they still have to go. While other teams capitalized on strategy and consistent pace, Hamilton's race became a lesson in damage control.